What's going on, NBA fanatics? This is your friendly neighborhood Memphis Grizzlies home of Memphis X, and I talk hoops. Today, we are talking about the Memphis Grizzlies ending 2022 with a win over the Western Conference leading New Orleans Pelicans. But first, every hero needs their theme music.
Piano.
Grizz gang, go hard. Baddest in the game, we be on one. I talk hoops, so secure. All up on the court, but we gon' score. Memphis bringing heat, straight from Tennessee. Demo respecting, let's go, boy. He that MVP.
In the last month of NBA action, Zion Williamson, former number one pick overall in the NBA, has been on a tear in the NBA. He has been killing folks. If you look at his games, the last two games before he played the Grizzlies, he had 43 against Minnesota and 36 against Philadelphia. He has been killing people. For the month of December, he ended up averaging 29.8 points, so basically 30 points, 5 assists, 7.5 rebounds on 61% shooting and 40% from three. Yeah, Zion dominated in December. But there is a guy, and the Grizzlies had his sunglass night last night at FedEx Forum. Mr. Get It Done himself, Mr. Dillon Brooks, was tasked with the assignment of stopping Zion Williamson last night. And Zion Williamson probably had his worst game of the year. He was 6 of 16 from the field, no threes. He got to the line 10 times. Thank you, refs. Had 9 rebounds, had 1 assist, and 9 turnovers. You heard that correctly. 1 assist to 9 turnovers. Dillon Brooks had a defensive masterclass backed by his defensive player of the year buddy, Jaren Jackson, and also with contributions from Steve-O, Brandon Clark, and rookie David Roddy. It was a complete team effort led by Dillon Brooks. And this is coming off the heels of Jaren Jackson saying Dillon Brooks had a case for being the defensive player of the year. And I can honestly tell you that from what I've watched, and I watch a lot of NBA games, I've actually watched Zion killing people as they moved him more into that point Zion thing. Because the last time the Grizzlies faced the Pelicans, Zion was still doing a lot of get it in the post-entry stuff. He wasn't really into full point Zion mode, but after that Grizzlies game, they kind of put him in that mode. And there's only been 2 teams that have stopped him or slowed him down in that month, since that time. And that's the Grizzlies last night and the Milwaukee Bucks. And they both defended Zion the same. The Milwaukee Bucks, oddly enough, used Drew Holiday in that same way that the Grizzlies used Dillon Brooks, and they had Brook Lopez and Giannis behind him to meet him at the rim. The same way the Grizzlies had Jaren Jackson and Steven Adams to meet Zion at the rim. So the Pelicans have to work this out, and this probably might be just worked out because of, when Brandon Ingram returns, they have another offensive threat that you have to account for. But that means you're taking the ball out of Zion Williamson's hand, and that means mission accomplished for the defense. So the Grizzlies had a great game. They did not have a total package game because the shooting was still suspect. 5 of 29 as a team from three-point line, 17%. The Grizzlies have to either start shooting or they're going to have to get a shooter via trade because this is not sustainable. Of course, Desmond Bane getting back on track will help, but Ja Morant's three-point shot has gone south. Dillon Brooks, he's probably been our most consistent three-point shooter over the last month, and Jaren Jackson's shot has also gone south. So they're not getting many three-pointers. Tyus Jones gives us occasional three-point production off the bench, but they're not getting any shooting off the bench. And they only got one really consistent – well, they got two consistent threats in Bane and Brooks, but do we really want to count on Dillon Brooks as being the second best three-point shooter on a team that's aspiring to win a title? Let's not push our luck. So Ja Morant ended up with 32 points, 8 assists, 3 rebounds. Steven Adams had a crazy 10 points, 21 rebound night. Jaren Jackson, 17 points, 6 rebounds, 6 blocks, and 3 steals. 9 stocks for Jaren. Crazy. Desmond Bane had 18 points, going 1 of 6 from three-point line. That is also crazy. He had a very good game. Conchar didn't hit a 3. David Roddy didn't hit a 3. Of course, we're not going to get any threes from Brandon Clark. And yeah, that's what it is. Tyus Jones gave us 2 threes off the bench. Then we got 1 for Bane, 1 from Brooks, 1 from Jaren Jackson that he banked in. So yeah, we really need some shooting on this team. The math will get you in the end if you're going against a team that can make 10 to 15 threes on a nightly basis, especially in the playoffs. The math will get you in the end. The Grizzlies, we can expect maybe 4 from Desmond Bane, maybe 4 total between Jaren, Dillon, and Ja. So that means they got to get at least 3 to 5 three-pointers off their bench. That's what they need. 3 to 5 three-pointers off their bench. And honestly, they don't have one consistent shooter that I can depend on, that I would depend on. I don't trust John Contrar's three-point shot in a big spot. I don't trust Tyus Jones in a big spot. And then you got David Roddy, Zaire Williams, and Jake LaRavia. Yeah, they need to get a proven three-point shooter off the bench. That's what they need. Somebody high-volume three-point shooter. I suggest somebody like Malik Beasley, but, it just depends on what you got to do. I really don't, I don't know who's available and all that. That's just my suggestion. They need a three-point threat off the bench because the starters are pretty much set. So I really don't want to mess with that. So getting somebody, I know I suggested Kuzma in the past. Getting somebody like Kuzma probably isn't going to make it because he's going to want to start. I suggested Alex Caruso. Getting somebody like Alex Caruso, he doesn't quite have the accuracy or volume that the Grizzlies need off the bench. Things change fast in the NBA, man. And really, we need a consistent three-point shooter. A guy who's probably too expensive contract-wise that I like would be somebody like maybe Buddy Hield, if he would be willing to come off the bench. And I'm sure he probably would for a team that's trying to contend for a title. Somebody like that, Buddy Hield, would be nice. One of the best three-point shooters in the NBA history. Yeah, that's true. He's one of the best NBA three-point shooters in NBA history. So the vibes going into 2023 are real good. We started out ended the last year off with 2 good wins against 2 decent teams. The New Orleans Pelicans is probably one of the best teams in the West, one of the best teams in the association. So I'm in a good place. I know you guys are as fans. We had a rough about 10 days, and now we're feeling good. We got the Sacramento Kings tonight, who are pretty hot. They lit the beam the other night on a 3-pointer from Kevin Huerter. Last second 3-pointer from Kevin Huerter. I think it was like 9 seconds left in the game. They lit the beam. Greatest tradition started this season, lighting the beam. Man, that's a great tradition. So fun for the fans, the city, the team. It's just something that you can gravitate towards for the rest of the time that team is in Sacramento. That team is going to be lighting the beam forever. I love it. So tonight is going to be a fun night, and the goal is to not let them light the beam the first day of 2023. That's the goal for tonight. We got a couple of guys. Of course, Zaire Williams sat out last night because he was having knee soreness. Santi Aldama sat out last night for ankle soreness. He was questionable, so they might want to save him for the second night of the back-to-back. Hopefully he can play tonight. Hopefully Zaire can play tonight. John Morant had a hard spill last night on his right hip. And, of course, Desmond Bane is still recovering from the toe sprain, so he might not play tonight. So if he doesn't play, man, the shooting, where are we going to get it from? I would like to see Jake LaRavia introduced back into the lineup since they only had 9 men really play in the lineup last night. Taylor Jenkins evolving as a coach, not so rigid with the 10-man lineup, even though he could have played Jake LaRavia. But, hey, it worked, and I'm glad he did it. So things are looking up right now for the Grizzlies. They are currently, I think, 1 full game behind the Denver Nuggets out of first place, a half game still behind the Pelicans, and 2 games ahead of the Mavericks, 2.5 games ahead of the Kings and the Clippers. So it's still tight in the West, and the Warriors are coming. The Warriors are are in the middle of a cake part of this schedule, so they are coming. So teams at the top of the West, beware. The champs are here. They're coming. So I'll talk to you guys tomorrow when we talk about this Kings game the Grizzlies have tonight. Peace.